Hello and welcome to your Illyriad tutorial video. In this video we'll be covering diplomacy. Diplomacy in Illyriad can be used as a means of gathering information, as well as performing other more nefarious deeds such as stealing. In order to learn these different abilities, you need to research in the diplomacy tree, which can be found here. There are many different types of diplomats in Illyriad. The first is a scout, which gives you the ability to find out the number and type of troops at any given location. This can be an encampment on the world map of NPCs, an occupying force from a player, or another player's town. Another type of diplomat are spies. These can report on buildings and their levels, as well as advanced spies reporting on future research intentions in a town. The next type of diplomat are saboteurs. They can sabotage the next item in a building queue or display research that's underway. The next type are assassins, which can be used to kill commanders in another town. Messengers are a special type of diplomat that can be used to recall occupying army forces. The name of the diplomatic units available to you are determined by your race. So for example, I'm a dwarf, which means my saboteur is called a sapper. This may be different for you. You create diplomats in your consulate building. So you go to Train Diplomats, and it'll take you to the consulate production screen. Any diplomatic units that you've researched the ability to create will be listed here. Resources required to create them are here. Production time is here. One important thing to note about diplomats is that they will require a per hour gold upkeep cost. So your basic diplomatic units, for example, the basic scout, cost 1 gold per hour, but the advanced scout, 2 gold per hour each. If you want to train diplomats, you can hit the max button right here, and it'll show you the max number of diplomats you can create with your current stored advanced resources and basic resources that might be required. I could create 410 sentries, but I don't need those right now, so I'll just make 10. Just type in the number and choose Make. Then you'll notice in the production schedule section the time remaining to complete the creation of these diplomats. The building level of your consulate reduces this production time. If you visit the diplomatic overview page, you'll see the current diplomats that you have in your city. Any diplomats present in your town count towards your defense against other diplomats. So you'll see here in my total defense chart, I have a lot of defense against scouts because I have so many in my town. I have 51. But my defense against spies, thieves, saboteurs, and assassins is much lower because I have much fewer of these units. At the top of the screen, you'll also see your diplomatic visibility radius. Base visibility is 5 squares. My consulate level 20 gives me an additional 10 squares. You can bump up your diplomatic visibility range by having a foreign office in your town, and also through sovereignty bonuses. This also shows me the visibility radius capable for my diplomats that are outside of my current visibility radius. This means if I had a diplomat within an occupying force army far away from my town, this is the range that they could see around them. To see a visual representation of your diplomatic visibility, visit the world map and check on Diplo visibility and zoom out. This means any groups of NPCs, for example, inside of this circle, if I were just to click on them, I could see the size of that group. So for example here, this group of salamanders has the size of several. I can see that because of my diplomatic visibility range. If they were outside of my visibility range, in the area that's colored white, I would just get an unknown when clicking on them. If I want to find the size of a group that's outside of my visibility range, I would need to send scouts to scout that group. And if I want more information than just the general size estimation of several for these salamanders, I could choose Send Diplomats, and it would give me back a report with exact numbers of salamanders in the group and their stats. If you visit the Diplomatic Movements page, it'll show you any movements you have currently coming inbound or outbound from your town. Currently, I don't have any. On the Orders page is where you'll go to send out diplomats from your town. Depending on the type of diplomat that you send will determine the type of mission that they go on. The scouts will scout, like I mentioned, and give you the type and number of troops at a location. Thieves will attempt to steal from the city that you send them to. Spies will report on the buildings and levels in cities that you send them to. Saboteurs will sabotage the next item in a queue or display research underway in a town. And assassins will be used to kill commanders in an enemy town. If you know the player and the city name, you can type them here in order to go to that location with your diplomats. Or you can visit the world map. Navigate to the town this way. Click on the town and choose Send Diplomats. I'd like to send diplomats to Luna's tutorial town to steal some things. So I'm going to send 2 of my advanced thieves to this town. Just click 2 and hit Send. Then on your Movements page, you'll see how long it takes for them to get there. And you could recall them in the next 111 seconds if I were to change my mind. Also, to see this in the next events queue, as your outbound diplomatic movements, say I have 2 halflings moving outbound. And if you go to the world map, you'll see them on the map moving toward my neighbor's town. Time has elapsed, and you'll see now that my diplomats are getting ready to land at their location. As soon as they land, they'll then turn around and return home. To see the outcome of my thief mission, I can go to my mail and open the report. Thief mission to Tutorial Town was completely successful. Your diplomatic mission was undetected and completed the objective. Your units are on their way home safe and sound. I was able to steal 70 gold and 50 saddles from my neighbor. Now keep in mind, if you do this to another player, they might not be terribly happy with you, so definitely something to keep in mind and consider carefully. Next, we'll go through the process of spying on a neighbor. So I'll click on Tutorial Town and choose Send Diplomats. I'll send 2 of my advanced spies, the Keeper of Secrets, to this town in hopes of learning what buildings and levels there are there and possibly any future research. This is a good way to essentially spy on your neighbors. Click Send and you'll see the outbound diplomatic movement. And if I go to the world map, I can see my diplomatic units in motion. Once they have landed, I'll get the report in my mail. So I click to visit my mail and open the spy mission report. My spy mission to Tutorial Town was completely successful. It says here, your diplomatic mission was undetected and completed the objective. Your units are on their way home, safe and sound. The information gathered is below, which is a list of buildings and their levels in the town next to me, as well as resource levels in this city. As you can see, spying is a really important information gathering technique. So if you were to spy, for example, before you send thieves, you might have a better idea of what you would get from those thieves. Now, I'll show you how to send saboteurs. So I'll click on Tutorial Town, choose Send Diplomats, and send 1 advanced saboteur. This could then sabotage the next item in the person's building queue, as well as their next research item. So I'll just click 1 and hit Send. This then takes me to the movement screen so I can see the diplomatic movements as my saboteur moves from my city to my target city. If I go back to the world map, I can see the moving units from there. Now you'll see that time has lapsed and my saboteurs are getting ready to land on their target town. Once they've landed, I will receive a report in my mail with their findings. So I click Mail and open the mission report. Sabotage mission to Tutorial Town was completely successful. Your diplomatic mission was undetected and completed the objectives. Your units are on their way home, safe and sound. I was able to sabotage my neighbor's research in carpentry, as well as their building of their paddock. It's important to keep in mind, if a player had better defense, my missions might not be so successful. That's why it's important to have diplomatic defense in your town by building diplomats of your own. Now I'll show you how to send an assassin to an enemy city. Click on the city and choose Send Diplomats. I'll choose my Advanced Assassin, which I only have one, so I'll select one and choose Send. Now you'll see my assassin as it lands on its target city, and the report. Another important type of mission that I mentioned earlier is scouting. The reason you might want to scout, for example, this group of giant rats, is that it says the size is throng, which gives an estimate of size, but not an exact representation of that size. So if I wanted to send a military mission, I might want to know more specifically what I'm going to be up against. So I can learn that by sending diplomats. I have 2 advanced scouts available, so I'll send them to find out. You'll see here that my scouts have almost arrived at the group of rats. Now that they have arrived, I should have a scout report in my mail. If I open my mail, my scout mission report is here. It says scout mission to square -319, -132 in Torkarok, completely successful. Your diplomatic mission was undetected and completed the objective. Your unit's on the way home, safe and sound. Below that, it lists the different types of troops present, in this case rats, ratlings, diseased rats, and elder bucks. If you want to learn more about these units, you can click on the icon, and it'll tell you their attack as well as defense levels, any experience you might get from combating them, as well as their movement speed. To the right, it shows you the quantity of each. So that's a lot of rats in this group. So I would need quite a substantial army to be able to take these on. And that's an overview of the different types of diplomatic missions available in Illyriad.